Breaking news, we continue to follow the devastating situation in Las Vegas happening overnight as we get more details about the deadly shooting at a country music concert, a festival that happened right on the Las Vegas Strip. Tracy Carrasco is here with more on what you know thus far. Good morning, Trace.
Good morning, ladies. Yes, we're following the latest updates on what's turning out to be an increasingly deadlier tragedy as the minutes go by. Right now, more than 20 people have been reported dead and more than 100 injured after an active shooter opened fire on a country music festival from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino. You can hear the gunfire as country music performer Jason Aldean was on stage as the shots rang out. Now, police have confirmed the death of one shooter and are searching for a second female suspect believed to be connected with the attack. Police have said there is no active threat right now, but warns the Las Vegas community to be on alert. We're hearing stories from the nightmare stories of witnesses. Listen.
We saw a lot of injuries. People were helping other people. They were carrying people out that looked like they were pretty bloody. And, the ambulances hadn't arrived yet, so they were just putting people into vehicles.
Just awful. Now, we will continue to bring you updates as they come in. Lauren, Cheryl.
All right, Tracy, thank you very much. Tracy Carrasco with all the latest details on this horrific series of events in Las Vegas.
And let's bring in Steve Rogers, former member of the FBI National Joint Terrorism Task Force. Hey, Steve.
Good morning.
This is the point, I suppose, in the investigation where you start. Eventually, we'll find out who this shooter was. He is deceased, but we'll start to talk to all of his friends and family. And you might hear people say, oh, well, he did say this crazy thing at one point. And lo and behold, usually it turns out they never report him. They never report this kind of suspected activity.
Well, that's absolutely right. And that's why we've emphasized if you see something, hear something, say something. I could tell you a couple of questions have already been answered. Number one, was it pre-planned? It certainly looks like it. If, in fact, his roommate, his girlfriend, whoever she is, worked in that hotel, she no doubt gave him access to that room on the 32nd floor and maybe was very instrumental in getting that weapon in that hotel. He had to pick a vantage point where he could kill the most people in a short period of time. So she holds a lot of information. That's why it's important the police get her and get her alive.
And also, Steve, just to kind of go into this ties in the scope of the investigation, we've talked about this before, but A, how does somebody get the kind of training that would be needed to use a machine gun or a fully automatic weapon, which once you hear the video, you can confirm that's what it is. First off, how did he get the training? And then number two, Lauren's point earlier, how does that person get that amount of equipment into the Mandalay Bay without being seen? To your point, maybe it was the roommate. But now as the investigation begins and the sun rises, it's only 2:30 in the morning right now in Las Vegas, they've got to start canvassing this massive scene to try and find clues, try and piece together everything. The families of these victims are going to want answers, and police want answers. How do they begin that process, Steve?
Well, you're going to see multi-agencies involved, including the FBI, federal, local, state, and county law enforcement agencies. Manpower is going to be massive. They're going to speak to everyone in that hotel. They're going to now speak to everyone who that employee had in contact with, as well as the shooter. You've got officers are going to do a lot of forensic investigation on their computers, on their cell phones. It is going to be massive. It's going to take many, many, many days. But they have to get down to the motive. What on earth went through their minds to plan this? Why did they do this?
Yeah, and that's why we are calling it terror. We don't know what branch, what type of terror that it is, but when something is pre-planned and the motive is to position yourself with a weapon to kill as many people as possible, you just got to say what's wrong with this person. And now we're going to have probably thousands of friends and family mourning the loss of innocent souls.
Yeah, you're right. This is a terrorist attack. The question is, was there anyone else involved in the planning? Is there an overseas nexus, et cetera? A lot of people like to play games with the names. Look, this was an act of terror. I mean, when you look at the faces of the people who your individuals and reporters interviewed this morning, they were terrorized. So the questions that have to be answered is who else was involved, if anyone was involved? Where did they get the weapons? Where did they get the ammunition? perhaps there are some other individuals involved, and were they radicalized here, which is very, very important.
You know, Steve, this is, you call it what it is. If it's domestic terrorism, so be it. But this was a soft target, you know, and we have to bring that up because this seems to be the lone wolf shooter's event of choice, a concert venue like we saw in Paris at the Bataclan, whether you saw a nightclub, everyone packed into a small amount of space. I mean, these persons wanted to do mass casualties, unfortunately. And I do want to say, I want to bring up this statement. We just got this statement in from singer Jason Aldean. This was his concert. He was on stage. He was singing. He stopped. He wasn't sure what he heard. Then he started singing back in. But he says basically that, you know, as far as how they're feeling about and being safe and everything, that he says that they are obviously heartbroken. He said, tonight's been horrific. I still don't know what to say, but wanted to let everyone know that me and my crew were safe. My thoughts, my prayers go out to everyone involved. Tonight, it hurts my heart that this would happen to anyone who was just coming out to enjoy what should have been a fun night. Hashtag heartbroken, hashtag stop the hate. That is the statement that we just got in from Jason Aldean. And Steve, really quick, just to say, just our final thought from you, this soft target, a mass event, do we need to be on alert?
We need to be on alert, and it's going to change law enforcement strategy towards being preventive with regard to soft targets. This took place in a 32nd floor of a hotel across the street from what we can now look as soft target sitting ducks. So law enforcement is not only going to have to look at the prevention of suicide bombers, et cetera, on the ground, now they're going to have to do a lot of surveying of hotels or any elevated areas where these concerts are taking place.
Steve, we appreciate you this morning. Steve Rogers, thank you.
You're welcome.
We do want to take a look right now.